So finally, this is part 2. I'm sorry for the very long wait. Let me first thank AMP Film Productions, to Dwight, to Danny, to Sir Caloy Ramirez for the drone shots, and also to The Island Nomad for giving me some shots for this video. I hope you enjoy this one. Let's roll the intro. Right, so I hope you do like that little intro that I made. So this is part 2, and basically if you've seen my socials, you have gone through my Instagram post about what happened in Ironman Cebu. But if you don't, basically I did have 2 flats. The second flat basically put me out of the race. So in this vlog, I will not make you feel sorry for what happened to me during the race, and my goal is to send a message, give out a story that is positive for all of us. So I hope you enjoy this vlog. So my Ironman 70.3 2022, here's what happened. So Ironman Cebu has always been special to me, aside from the fact that it is the biggest race in Asia. It is also my home race, and it has always been special. I have did this race since its incarnation, or since its inaugural in 2012, and I have been meaning to give out a good performance here. Some birds. And so far I have had 3 third finishes here out of 8 attempts. I have 1 third place finish amongst the Filipino elite category, and I also have a 3rd place finish in my age group, 30 to 34. But despite my podium performances here in Cebu, I felt like I have never given it my best, or I felt like I have never shown my best in this race. Maybe part of it is just the conditions here. The Ironman Cebu course, especially the old bike course, which is in SRP, is super windy. It just doesn't fare well for guys like me who are light and skinny. I've been trying to figure out Ironman Cebu puzzle for years now, and so far it has been a great journey. This course is a real challenge for me, and you know, trying to be good at a course which is not built for you only makes you a better athlete. So basically it's a win-win situation for me. And another reason why I don't do well in this course, since it has a big bearing for me. It's an important race for me. It's my home race. It's the biggest race in Asia, and so I tend to overtrain, and I tend to over prepare for this race. More often than not, I come to this race fatigued and sick and whatnot, but experience has molded me, and I felt like this year I finally figured out how to come to this race in shape but healthy. We are in Cebu City Sports Center. Basically, we do our training here. What we did today is a track workout specific for the 70.3 race. Nothing really special, nothing really too fast. This is the biggest race in Asia. We're only like 3 weeks away from the race, so a 70.3 race is longer than the usual triathlon, so we need to dial in the pace, so we don't go too fast, too early, so we don't blow.
Consistency is the key. There's no magic training. Be able to pace yourself so that today you can train, tomorrow you can train, the next day you can train. Because there's no point in being a hero in one day and then you need 2 to 3 days to recover. Then that's not gonna bring you to your goal. Even though during the days that you don't feel like working out or you don't feel like training, remind yourself why you started this journey. Win or lose, you just have to put in the work so that by the time you're there, when it matters most, you can count on your training.
But before we get into the race, I want to send a huge shout out to the people behind Kaya Athletes. I want to give thanks to the sponsors of this vlog as well. That's Greystone Farm and Liver RDJ. Thank you so much for the continued support. I hope you continue supporting this channel and you continue supporting my racing. And we do have a new sponsor, that's Capiz Furnitures. You'll hear about them soon on my page in Facebook and in this channel. So into the race. Alright, it looks like we're ready. Stuffs are there, swim, bike and run stuff. That's gulaping stuff. I don't know if he's ready, but I think we're ready to go. Peace. So the bike's racked, everything's ready. I think I did my preparation well. So we get into the swim. I positioned myself at the back of zone 1. I was one of the few swimmers that are slated to swim at zone 1. So I didn't want to start at the forefront of the race, so I positioned myself at the back. I was with Jet Ramos, and basically during the start, after the first turnaround, I passed August Benedicto, and after halfway, I managed to pull away, and me and Jet Ramos was swimming most of the swim together, but with around 400 meters to go, some girl in zone 1 grabbed my calf and just deliberately pulled my leg. I got detached from that small pack, so I was like down by about 20-30 seconds on Jet Ramos after the swim. But overall, it was a good swim for me. Even though the waters were a little bit rough, I was happy with the swim split. I was able to swim with Jet Ramos for most of the swim. Our past race in Bohol, he swam way faster than me, so that was a very encouraging race start for me.
Go, coach!
So onto the bike. After a very quick transition, I gained back time on Jet Ramos, and on the very first few kilometers, about 10 to 15 kilometers of the bike, I was riding with Jet Ramos and Peter Lucas. So Jet Ramos and Peter Lucas are the top 2 fastest guys in Ironman Subic. That's a full Ironman. Needless to say, they are very strong on the bike. And not only was I feeling good because I was surrounded by good cyclists, I was also feeling relaxed and comfortable there. They are 2 of the fastest guys in Ironman Subic, and especially with Peter Lucas. This guy is able to consistently put out good bike splits, and he is the only one who actually hit sub 10 hours in Ironman Subic. He's a pretty strong triathlete, but I was there, I was holding my own. I felt like I was in the driver's seat in my age group and still in contention for the overall win. And at that point, I was telling myself, oh, this is great for me. Everything's going according to plan. As far as racing my age category, I was in the lead, so I was pretty stoked about that. And then disaster happened. So unfortunately, disaster struck. My front tire had a flat. One of those staple wires you use for posters punctured my tire. So as I was climbing up to CC legs, I felt that my front tire was wiggling and losing air pressure. So I stopped at the crest of the CC leg so that when I do finish fixing my tire, it will be a downhill so that I could gain speed right away. And at this point, I was thinking to myself, this is still doable. If I just fix this in under 3 minutes, then I'd still be able to gain back time on them. Maybe, just maybe, the overall win is out of the window for now, but I could still grab some podium places in my age group. I was in a positive mood, so I fixed the tire right away, and off we go chasing. I lost about 3 minutes already. Damn it. That's fine, still not over. Alright, let's go! so I made a valiant effort to chase. I was constantly reminding myself not to go berserk, but just go a little bit harder, keep it sensible. I had a flat at kilometer 17, so I knew that I still have an awful lot of riding to do. So I did want to go hard, but I want to keep the efforts in check, not to burn too much matches, so that I'll still be able to run well off the bike. And as I was going through competitors that passed me when I was fixing the flat, constantly looking for riders to work with, so that we can share the load, we can share the pace, so that we'd be in contact with the front group again. Luckily for me, the time that I have lost while I was fixing the flat, it did not grow. In fact, I was scrolling back time on them, even though I was riding solo, and the people up front were sort of working together. But there were actual moments on that ride that I was ready to full send it. But luckily, I had the legs that day, and also I was able to quickly realize that this isn't sustainable. So I went back to a good pace, and also I was quite content on keeping my competitors on a short leash. I am confident with the training that I have done, especially with my bike and my run. So to be quite honest, I was really feeling good on the day, and having a flat actually just released all my pressure. That was that. Until, so unfortunately, I got myself a second flat. What happened was, if you're familiar with the plastic cap that goes at the end of your Presta valve, I accidentally put that inside a tire while I was fixing my tire during my first flat, and at some point it pinched the inner tube again. It exploded. I was even lucky I didn't crash, because it was like just a tire blowout. But at that point I knew my race is over. You just couldn't recover from two flats. My competition is really stiff. I have always said in interviews that even on a good day without a flat, my competitors can hand my ass to me any day. And unfortunately for me, I only brought one inner tube, so I had to like stay on the road for about 15 to 20 minutes just waiting for someone to throw an extra inner tube. Luckily someone threw a spare tube, and I was able to fix my flat. But from there on, my race is already over. At least my podium hopes is already over. So at that point, I just accepted it as it is. It's just a bad day, but it is a bummer, because on the day the legs were feeling great, and I really felt that even with the deficit that I had after the first flat, I could really give a good chase on the run. But it is what it is. These things do happen. If there's any consolation, I'm proud of how I handled myself and how I handled the situation. You know, a younger me would really throw a tantrum at the side of the road, but that would kind of look obnoxious. A man in a mankini throwing a tantrum in CC legs. Imagine that. Check out the shirt. Shout out to 032 Conversations, Carlo Villarica, No Boring Days. So I had a flat at kilometer 80, so I still have about 80 kilometers of riding to do before I enter T2. And as I pedaled back to Mactan, Newtown, I have slowly accepted that today just wasn't my day. It was just pure bad luck. It kind of sucks, because of all the races to double puncture, it would be on Cebu. It would be on the biggest race, on the brightest lights, but it is what it is. As I entered T2, I had a brief train of thought that I would pull out from the race. After all, I didn't come to this race just for the sake of finishing. I have done this race since its inaugural in 2012 and has never missed it since then. I came to showcase what I can do, but I guess it just wasn't meant to be. But instead of pulling out, I was reminded of how lucky I am to be still doing this sport. After over 10 years of doing this, how lucky I am to have the support that I have, how lucky I am to be surrounded with the people that I am surrounded with. And we are all blessed that this race even happened. This year I have worked with the media personnel that this race has employed. I've seen firsthand how hard it is to put up a world-class event like this, how many strings has to be pulled just to give it a go. And for the first time, we all cycled through CCLEX, an engineering marvel that Cebuanos are super proud of, the longest bridge in the Philippines. So no, I'm not pulling out, not today. Instead, I thought of my friends that are on the course. Perhaps they could use plus one more person who's cheering. And I was out there on the run course, handing sponges. And for the first time ever, I absolutely enjoyed the run course and immersed myself with a great crowd in Punta Engaño. Of course, since this is our home race, friends along the way were offering beer. I did not miss a single beer on offer. And I ended the race finishing with Rafi, a good friend of mine. And of course, I finished it with an ice cold beer on hand. So that's all, folks. I wish I could give you a better ending, a win or a podium finish. But as big as this race is, it's only one race. Still hoping, still dreaming. Thanks for watching. Till next time.